Happy Thursday, everyone. This is Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what, ladies? Your money. So, listen, y'all. Today we are asking a really tough question. I don't know if it's I think as time goes on, the question doesn't become so tough anymore, right? Is America still the best place for Black people? I don't think that is a tough question as it had been in the past. Now, the government is officially shut down as of today, and the president recently made a strange remark about the N word. Y'all remember? N word. This man got on the mic and talked about the N word. First, talking about nuclear, then joking that there's another bad N word. It's a very, very bad word. And we could use one of the N words, and one of the ones this is just crazy. So, this is the time right now where division feels sharper than ever. And we have to pause and ask ourselves, Black people, with all of these systemic barriers, racial inequities, and cultural unrest, is America really the land of opportunity for us? Or is it time to start thinking differently about where we can truly, truly thrive? So to help with this conversation, I got some of the baddest chicks on the planet, the baddest queens on the planet. So first up, Miss Shalaye, Camille. And listen, she is out of the boogie Boston. What y'all call Boston? What y'all call Boston?
The Beantown, not the Boogie Down Beantown. The Boogie Down Beantown.
And I can't say, with my California accent, Boston, like Lala and I, we used to call it Boston, right? You got to say Boston.
Boston,
right? So Shalaye is a real estate broker, powerhouse, and she is here. We're going to have this great conversation. And then, of course, y'all know the one and only Miss Lala, another powerhouse real estate professional. Not only does she do real estate, but she does it internationally. She happens to be all the way overseas, all the way in Portugal as of today, but she's international. She does real estate both nationally and internationally. And with this conversation right now, I think it's more important than ever to talk to pros like Lala and even Shalaye, because you said you do international real estate as well, right?
I'm getting into it.
Oh, you're getting into it. So yeah, we got the right ones on here. And a little bit later, Miss Black Hollywood's going to come and talk with us, join us as well. But is America still the best place for Black people? And so I want to ask the question to you: not is it the best place for Black people, but what do you feel in this political climate, Shalaye, about our place in America as Black people? What do you think? Where do you think we are with this?
So I believe that we are where we kind of always been. I mean, I think that we were under the illusion that things are so much better than they've always been for us.
The illusion of
in the
inclusion.
United States. Would you say?
So the illusion of inclusion.
The illusion of inclusion. Yes. And the thing is, like, we're not that far apart from when our ancestors, I call them ancestors, but really our great grandparents were slaves, right?
Yeah.
And so, things have changed. There have been some things that have changed, but have they really changed that much where we can say that we feel included in this society to a point where we can function without, systemic racism and macro and microaggressions and things like that? Absolutely not. I know that all of us on this panel can speak about racist things that have happened to us from the time we were little children and still happen today.
Yeah.
And, just like the illusion of Boston, oh, you're up north, so, there's no racist there. What? It's crazy, and it's rampant, and it's everywhere. So I just think that I'm so glad we're having this conversation today, because I've been having this conversation a lot, especially with my friends and my family. We need to have other pathways. The hell out of here.
Lala, based upon what Shalaye said, in terms of us being, do you agree that we've been in this whole illusion of inclusion about the state of Black people? Do you think things have changed a little bit from our ancestors, or are we still in the same place that we were before? What do you think?
No, I think it's still an illusion. I think they like to lull us into thinking that we have been included in anything. And whether it looked like it was getting better on paper, with all the things that were implemented after civil rights, the truth of the matter, what went on behind closed doors and underground still was continuing. As long as it's being taught behind closed doors and how business practices are doing things behind corporate doors, we're always the last people to benefit from anything. And we have to fight so much harder to get anything at all. So it is, and it's going to be an illusion until we do something about it.
So Miss Black Hollywood, tell me you think something different for Black people. Tell me that you are more optimistic about our plight in this country.
I am more optimistic about our plight in this country.
Okay.
No,
Let's go.
I do believe that, so often we say they, right? And I do believe that as a community, we've fallen asleep. I do feel like this. I'm not going to blame us for the misfortunes and the things that we've been, discrimination and white supremacy. I'm not going to blame us for that. But I do feel like in some ways we play a part in our own demise, only from not unifying, only from not supporting one another, only from embracing the stories that we've heard about ourselves. The representation for Black people has not been the best. And they've shown us ourselves in the tackiest and worst lights. And we've embraced that and fed into the they. They is also us. And so I just want to say that we start to have these conversations like they, but a lot of it is us.
I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate the accountability because there is some onus on us. But I also believe that white supremacy has lulled us to sleep because they have buried it. You got to think about it. Them same motherfuckers that was hanging people from trees, that were posing down. This was just a generation. They didn't go nowhere. They just stopped doing it. And what they've done systemically, because when you talk about lack of unification for Black people, it's not. We were. And then, it's like to your point, we do kind of have a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, right? Because now we are buying into what our oppressors have said about us. We have done that, but it's all part of the brainwashing. When Malcolm X talked about the brainwashed Negro, we've been brainwashed to their program, and them, now they're throwing rocks and hiding their hands. What they've done is they've introduced these drugs, and they've done these things to our community. We have been a project, a science experiment. They have experimented with our culture since the beginning of this country, where they have engineered Black people to be a certain way, and then they blame us for it. And so when you say, it's on us, there's some of us that are woke. There's some of us, but we've bought into that because we've been brainwashed. It's been implemented in our DNA through, it's like he who has the media tells a story. So they've told this story across the world about who we were. Everybody's bought into it, including us. When the majority of people are the most brutal, they're murderers, they're perverted, they have just done some of the most barbaric things that you could ever think of, but yet they say that we are the murderers, and they put it on us, and then they plaster all of, you know what I'm saying? That's so sociopathic. So for me, I don't believe that we can put it on us. I think we've been victims.
For sure. Of an abusive, it's like having an abusive spouse for 400 years, right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
You're like, no, he's great. He just hurts me today, but most days he makes me feel good. I mean, like, he gives me a little something to eat, and then, like, so I understand where we're coming from. I'm not saying it's all on us. I'm just saying, I just wanted to give us a certain perspective that's genuine. I do believe that sometimes we rock-a-bye babied into sleep, and we're saying, like, Black, because we see a couple of Black millionaires or billionaires. So there's this illusion that we are winning. And I don't know. I saw something that said 1 in every 25 Black people are millionaires. So does that mean that we're progressing? I don't know. Because that's
Shalaye, you want to say something?
I'm
ready. She is chomping up
I have so much to say. Okay, for the unity bit, I think that, so I believe that some of us are unified or want to be, but again, we talk about the lulling to sleep in their system and the brainwashing, right? After the civil rights movement, where we kind of like were supposed to be included, it was almost like them making us compete against each other for that spot.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that did a lot to disintegrate our unity because it put us in competition. Now, I know that, so in Boston, I'm gonna just say this. I don't know if anybody from Boston, from the North, you might get upset. I don't care. But in Boston, I feel like, Black people are not united. It's happening more, but again, it's in little pockets, and there are people who even make it seem like you're united, but it's really not. But when I go like to Atlanta or I go to events in North Carolina, I just feel this vibe and I'm like, these are my people, right? So I think that unity looks different also based on where you are in the United States.
Well, and it may look different internationally. And I want to ask you about that, Lala, when we come back from the break. What does it look like for Black people, Black Americans overseas? So let's talk about that when we get back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, we are talking about, is America still the best place for Black people? Now we've bought into the idea of America the Great. What is that called? American exceptionalism, that we think that we are the best people. We are the superpower. This is the greatest country on earth. This is what we've been taught. This is what they've fed us. And when people leave the country, they say, because I saw that somebody left the country and they were saying, oh, she'll be back in 6 months. There's no other place that's greater than America. On the contrary, I've heard different things. Those things are mostly coming from either one, people who have an agenda to make sure that America looks great, or people who've never gone anywhere internationally. So for you, Lala, being that you're by country, I don't even know what you call it. You're not bi-coastal, you're you live in two different places. What does that look like for Black people internationally?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to generalize everyone, because wherever you go in this world, there's always going to be that asshole.
Oh,
period. I mean, just be honest. Wherever you go, there is going to be that one person that is going to have a problem with anybody outside of them. But for the most part, I can speak from travels with my husband and I performing around the world, also being in Portugal. I don't really see it here. Now, there is a discourse right now in Lisbon because of the housing and things of that nature. And there was something that did happen that was racial this past summer, but you do not get that very often here. In fact, learning the Portuguese language, I was in class with a lot of people from Italy, Spain, all over the world. And we were talking and laughing, and somehow we got on the topic of our license and our ID. They were absolutely shocked when I told them I have to put my race on my license. Nobody in Europe does that. So wow. It's simple little things like that you need to open yourself up. Yes, there's racism all across the whole world, but how some countries handle it is very interesting, because Portugal is number one when it comes to slavery and the slave trade.
Yeah.
Okay? Y'all should know that. And that's why people are like, Portugal. Well, let me tell you what, Portugal has also embraced that, and they include that in their history. They have monuments of that and they acknowledge their part in history of what they have done. But
Do you
because
know
of that,
no president has ever apologized for slavery?
girl, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
It didn't exist. It was all illusion, right? No, but other countries do face up to it, and Portugal is one of those. There's a big Black presence here, and
Really?
a lot has tapped into, of course, Africa and Cape Cod and all those things that they had tapped into. But there is a large Black presence here in the bigger cities.
Why did you choose Portugal as opposed to any other place in the world?
It felt comfortable. I mean, I grew up in little old Louisville, Kentucky. You know, and I lived in the country, not in Louisville proper. So it feels like comfortable, like you wave at your neighbors. The babies don't have phones in their hands all daggone day. You know, they're playing. They are playing on the playground, swinging and coming down slides and all those things. And people are just more friendly. And this is coming from places like I've gone to Italy, I've gone to France, I've gone to all those. And Spain gave me the worst problem ever. But Portugal doesn't feel that way. So let's not forget, they've not been out of dictatorship for very, very long either. It was early 70s when they had their last dictator.
So it's a democracy now.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick before we go to the video, I do want to ask you this question that Jared brought up. If we agree that Black people build America, why should we leave if we built this place here?
I don't know if you watch the news or you're just getting insight on what's happening around us, but it just doesn't feel as healthy. I know for me, after my daughter graduates from high school, I really want to spend a couple years abroad just to take a deep breath. I think that it's exhausting. Like you were saying earlier, we don't even know how we have it healed. We don't even know because we're in it. So we can't until we get out of it and kind of take a breath and we're able to have a perspective that is not inside the belly of the beast. I think it'll change what we think. I mean, if this was an inclusive country, if you didn't see people running down people that they don't know if they're citizens or not and beating them to the ground and then putting them in, like, it just feels very it feels very it just feels, aside from, I don't even want to use the word divisive, but it's almost ridiculous. I feel like I live in a twilight zone. And so if making it literally live in a twilight zone every day, I put it on Instagram, I'll go through just my thread and it'll be like Twilight Zone. I've just started doing it for fun at this point because every time I do it so often, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. And why would you want to live in that?
Yeah.
Right? Why are I feel like we're surviving yet again in a country that doesn't really want us.
It's like you playing slug bug on the slug bug. You know, you ever play that game when you slug bug? Every time you see, you do that with Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Let's keep score.
Oh my God! Every time.
Crazy.
So I don't know if anybody else feels that exhaustion of just like, what now? What's gonna happen?
It is very exhausting. If you had an opportunity to move abroad, Shalaye, would you consider it, being that, this is where you're from, your family's here? Would you?
It's absolutely. Number one, absolutely. I've actually been having this conversation with my sisters. Like, y'all, we really need to think about, and some other family members, we really need to think about a pathway out if we need to get out. And I wrote down a note about Jared's comment because I saw it. And I understand what he's saying. Like, we built this country, like, why would we leave, right? But they had us, we didn't build it voluntarily, first of all. And this country wasn't built for us. And they specifically built it for us to be on the bottom rung. So that's the foundation right there. This country is specifically built for us to be and stay on the bottom rung. So it's not like we built this country and it's a great empire for us and now we're gonna leave it and abandon it. That's not the case. And then my question is, what is the alternative, right? And we've got to all agree on this. Like, are we gonna stay and revolt and fight for it? And if we're gonna do that, okay, what's the plan? What's the plan around that? Because to stay in the muck, when we know it may be even getting worse and not, thinking about the alternative, I think that that's just not a good plan for us as a whole. And I get that everyone may not be able to get up and go, but let's have these conversations early so that we can prepare.
Well, the economists have said that we are in the process of the fall of America. America is failing. This empire is failing as we speak, and we are in the process. So, do we ride that ship as it sinks, or do we jump off and do we go somewhere else? And I want to take a look at this video about surviving in America, because I think that's the thing that we've been doing for the last 400 years is surviving, Black people. Let's take a look at this video.
Can I say something before the video, though, because I think this is very important to preference. We have to remember that we are still a baby country. We are only 250 years old. When you look at world history and you see all of the history of Europe and how many fights and who took over and this and that and this, we are still a baby. We have yet to see our real first big fall. Unfortunately, we are living in it right now.
Boom.
Oh,
Drop that mic, baby.
thing.
Drop that
Wow.
mic, baby.
All right, so look, if Black people and other melanated peoples are going to survive America, then we are going to have to learn how to work together. We start small, we build trust, and we expand it until it is something that they cannot destroy. No one is coming to save us, and the truth is, America is not a stable ship, it's a sinking one. The economy is crumbling, jobs are disappearing, and even the so-called good opportunities are just prettier cages. Continuing to pour our labor, our energy, our money into this system that is collapsing is not just a waste, but it is counterproductive to our own survival. We can do better. We deserve better. The question is, what are we gonna do? And that question only has one real answer. We build for ourselves, with our own hands, with our own minds, and our own people. It starts with a survival tribe. 3 to 5 people that you would bet your life on. The ones who will show up when you call. The ones who will share the last meal with you if you were hungry. The ones you trust to watch your children, your home, your back. A tribe is small, tight, and resilient. You share resources, split costs, trade skills, and protect each other from whatever comes. Now, when these survival tribes start to join forces, they form a village, and each tribe brings its own strengths. One grows food, another one has carpentry skills, another has transportation solutions, and another might know trade and barter. And the village becomes the place where resources circulate. We can get our needs met without having to beg this system for scraps. And every time we trade with the village instead of the system, we stop feeding a machine that's been feeding off of us for centuries. So then those villages turn into communities, larger, interconnected ecosystems where skill and trust spread. And those communities.
Yeah, that sounds. Listen, so okay, I'm gonna give you my opinion on that. I think that's ideally sounds good, but you got to think about foundational Black Americans. Like, so you mean to tell me we built this culture of, the number one culture in this country is Black people, African Americans. They follow after our music, our style. We built this, like we are America. They want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues. We have built this. And you mean to tell me you want us to go back to hunter-gatherer? Like, what the how? What? I mean, Negroes ain't doing that shit. Oh no, Shalaye.
Not hunter-gatherer. I was actually feeling the brother. What is? I wanted to know what his name was.
I need to know how to
feel
do
his premise. I feel the premise. Like, if we're going to survive and everything goes to shit, right?
Yeah.
We will need those pockets of like people. Who can you call? Who are you going to depend on? We will need it. I can't lose your base. So yeah, I get it. We're not going to be out there foraging and stuff.
Yeah,
but
like, what are we doing? Like, Black folks. Let's talk about Black people. I mean, let's be real.
But this is the thing. Let's talk about Black people. If we're saying that we want to stay, right? And it does, like, we're going to go through this period of this country being crazy, right? We will have to have some skills. So do we need to start thinking like that? Okay, if we're staying and we're down with this country, we're down with this land, we need to start thinking in those terms of if something happens, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And who can we depend on?
And can I just say real quick, it's not like we didn't used to do those things. It's not like a lot of like Black farming. No. See the story you
Come on,
bought.
baby. Come on.
See the story you
No, but
bought.
you gotta
Yeah,
think
we can
about
do
this
that.
See it?
today.
All of us, Constance.
No, but
But he just said your strengths, whatever your strengths are. Armando is in the chat right now. He talks about food every single
I
day.
love that.
We get
Armando.
Armando. He said what you say? Combat tactics. He know how to live out on the grid.
Yeah, so we
There's
going off the
people.
grid,
Yeah,
Negroes.
listen, there's black people that my point is there's black people that know how to do that. And that what we
Yes.
know is
Yeah.
that we invent pretty much everything. So what we're gonna do is put our genius and focus it on something else.
Love
If
that.
we really have to do it, black people gonna know how to survive. I don't care what you say.
And the thing is, they control the grid. This is another conversation that we should have, y'all, about AI and all that. But they control the grid. So that's a real thing that we might have to go off the grid because they just might shut it down, or another country might be sick of this bullshit that's going on here and do something to our grid. Those are real scenarios. I know I've been thinking about it. Those are real
But
scenarios.
the thing is, we have to be quiet about it. Let's be very truthful, okay?
Mhm.
You cannot go out here in this world and say, this is what we gonna do, right? What I love about this video is he said, who's your ride or die? Who's your ride or die people that you are with? You ain't got to start with a whole community. Start with your ride or die. If I know how to grow food and you know how to make medicine from that food or whatever, let's trade. Okay, let's teach each other what we know. If I know AI, okay, there's some babies. They're babies. Come here. Let me show you something, how to do something right now. You start with your ride or dies and you're quiet about it, because the minute they find out or see us being successful, they will find ways to shut us down every time. Just look at history, period. So you've got to be quiet about it, but you must be serious about it. I have my tribe. This is one of the reasons we're doing the Black Business Directory as well. The little things that you think that don't matter, they matter.
I can dig it. I do. I will. Let me ask you this, Miss Black Hollywood. I'm not. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. I'm not. I'm not. I just want to know. Okay. Because I know we need to do for ourselves. That ain't gonna work for most of us. So let's give a real freaking solution. What should we do? Where can we really go to do some things outside of going off the grid and sharing food and research? Like, what's a real way that we can really apply this shit up here?
Constance saying that is not my life. I live in Bowie, baby.
You mean you have to give up all of this and I got to go off the grid? What?
I didn't build this house.
But no, okay, you're laughing and it's funny. It's absolutely hilarious. I get it. But Constance also is a wealth of knowledge, right? Constance, you have the Net 7. You have all these other things that you can teach skills to people too. And it doesn't have to be what you see in your brain. Like, I need to go off into the forest and see which mushroom is poisonous and which one's not.
That's what it sounds like.
Constance uses her wealth of knowledge
so
to
where
pass
can we
it down.
That's what I'm saying, Lala. So where can we realistic? How can we realistic? Because that was a good idea in terms of like, okay, we need to go out and start. And so maybe, hypothetically, he was saying we should do this. But to me, it was like somebody needs to gather the food. Somebody needs to no, I don't want to do that. We do need to build our own Black communities. How do we realistically do this?
Constance, look at your community.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Funny, but no, let me finish what I'm going to say, because this is really important. And I know it's funny, but guys, this is really not funny.
It's not funny, Lala. I know. I'm laughing at her response. I'm laughing at her response. Go ahead.
So listen, Constance, you're asking where can we go, right? Mm-hmm. Look at us all right here. Mm-hmm. Are we not part of this network? We all have our specialties. We all have our own communities, right? Mm-hmm. Within our communities is where we teach those. Within our classes, within our courses, within the people that we do business together, like B1. That ain't no joke. B1 is powerful. And then what do? Constance, I know somebody in your area, sis. I need them to buy a house. I'm contacting you. Now, my community is your community. Shalaye, Boston, Canada. All right, I got someone for you. So now my community is your community. Tiara, I need somebody to write a book. Okay, I'm going to your community. So it's not just foraging, because somebody in your community probably is, and you still can work with them. But this is too important for us to miss. You talk about it, but we're not doing it.
So actually,
you are not stagnant. You do not have to stay in America and be oppressed. You do not have to go to the areas that hate you when we have a strong community right here.
So what you're saying, I am in agreement, because this is what I do. This is what I live and breathe. This is I believe in, I practice collective economics. That's what I do. I'm saying, where can we go physically? Not just your network over here, not just me working, but where can Black people go if we want to defect from America and we want to do something different physically? Where can we go so that we can build something outside of going to the forest and, you know, getting our ammo together? That's what I'm saying, because that's what he was saying. So what can we do? What's like a real plan outside of, because we're doing the collective economics and a lot of us are working together, but where can we physically go? Tierra,
well, that depends on what we got going on. We're building communities as we speak. If them white folk can get together and go to the Ozarks and only say white folk, then so can we. And we've done that. And every time that we've been successful, they come after us.
Of course.
So we have to be prepared for that. But it depends on where you are, who wants to join you, and you have to start from scratch. It's not like we can say, we're going to pick this area right now, until we go, hey, there's a plot of land that maybe we all can get together and buy together and start our communities together. It can be done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
Any other ideas?
You were about to ask. So I remember when so in 2013 it was my first introduction to Minister Farrakhan, and the event was, he was talking about, he had put together this plan. The Nation of Islam has put together this plan for Black people if they like just paid like $45 a year or something like that. But it wasn't even like every Black person in every community. It was like maybe 1 million Black people. It was insanely like reasonable. And oh my God, Lord, I got somebody's dog, y'all. Hey. Sorry, that's ghetto. Okay, so I'm not a doggy girl. I don't know how I ended up with somebody's dog, y'all. Anyway, so hey, stop. Come over here. Oh my God. All right, so okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Put that dog in the bathroom.
I don't want to put the dog in the bathroom. Hey, sit down. Okay, so basically what he was saying was that it felt feasible, is what I'm saying. It wasn't a whole lot. He was saying that we could buy this plot of land, we could grow on it and become part of the international trade and strengthen our community that way. And so I just thought it starts from our own Walmarts, our own versions of things, and then we feed into our own communities. And I thought that was dope, right? It was simple. It didn't require that we go and live in the forest like what you're saying. It's just a little bit off the top every single year as a collective. And
so is this a physical location where he's saying we buy this plot of land in America, or is it somewhere outside of America?
It was in America. But what I'm saying is maybe we look abroad though.
Okay.
We're throwing out ideas, right?
I think that we should
realistically do it.
I think that we should have the plan, again, not trying to put the plan out for everybody, like Lala said, but it should be a multi-pronged approach, right? Because yes, we live here now and we've got stake here now. Our families are here now. So what can we do here now? But also being of the mind of, all right, where else can we go? Where is a good place? And it starts with having these conversations and connecting with people in the 3 to 5 places that you're thinking about in those areas. The All Black National Convention this year, for one, I loved it because it opened up my mind about international trade, business, living. Whereas before I wasn't really thinking, I had the thoughts, but I wasn't really thinking like that. And I've connected with a lot of people who are in Africa, in different parts of the country. I mean, parts of the world and the country. And so those people are also now a part of the village or the tribe, right? That you can reach out to and say, hey, how is it over there? But I think that we need to be thinking about a multi-prong or a two-prong approach. I also was like, oh, I want to get some land here. I met some people at the conference from Boston, actually, who lived next door to my cousin, who said that they bought them and like, I think 17 other families they bought out in the middle of Georgia, but they bought like 100 and something acres and they're building on it. And they have a covenant for that land and stuff like that. Now, that's going to be great for them, right? If they need to leave, yeah, maybe they need to have another strategy of where else can we go? But I think that it's important to have something to sell too. So if you got some land here and you do need to leave, you can sell it. And then that could be your nest egg to take that and go somewhere else. But we need to be thinking on a multitude of levels for this.
I love what you said about it being a multi-prong or myriad of ideas, because I think there's no one way to skin a cat. Like, we got to look at different alternatives. For some, it may be foraging in the forest. For others, it may be going international. For others, it may be buying plots of land. But my thing is, what can we do here? Can we do now in this present moment? And that does go back to practicing collective economics. That does go back to empowering and unification. And again, I don't buy into the idea that Black people just aren't unified, because I think we are. We just had to be... we just had to know what was really going on, because we have been, we had this idea of this great white savior that we've had for the last. So first of all, they put us to sleep. They lull us to sleep. They give us these handouts. The Democrats give us these handouts. The Republicans don't want to do anything. And then they want to save us. They want to take everything away, and then they want to become our savior. So now we have to depend on them. And now with what's going on in the current administration, I think we're seeing, here's what this is what's really been going on. And we have been bamboozled. Malcolm X said it 50 years ago. We have been hoodwinked, run amok,
led
astray. And now Black folks are starting to wake up to what's going on. And so that's the thing that I think that we all need to really look at is, what are some things that we can do today? Ideally, some of that stuff may be 10, 15 years down the road. Today, we look at Black businesses. Today, we look at Black unity. How do we work together, put our money together so that we can do the things together and build our community? That's the reason why we're so affected by what's happening, is because we have no power. Why do we have no power? Because collectively, we don't put our funds together. Let's go to a commercial, and then we're going to go back to the second video, the next video.
I know. You're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
That makes absolutely no sense. You put your skin color over patriotism. You are offended by people who value and defend and protect America. You are choosing to be an orphan in this world. Y'all are inviting the orphan spirit into your existence. And you're not an orphan. You have a home. It's the United States of America. You have a birth certificate. You could get a blue passport. All it takes is a couple $100. You could get a blue passport. You have every single right that any other American citizen has. And you choose to continue to other yourselves. You're choosing to perform victimhood. You're choosing to perform oppression and marginalization. And it makes absolutely no sense at this point when you've had a Black president, you've had a Black vice president, you have so many Black millionaires and billionaires, you got all Black films. I watched Black Panther in Thailand in a movie theater. You got how many all black Super Bowl performances do you need? You got a whole black month dedicated to you. You got black channels on the TV. What the hell else do you need to understand that you are neither marginalized nor oppressed? You are an American citizen and you can do anything that any other American citizen can do. This is coming from somebody who lived in Germany, lived in Thailand, lived in multiple states in the United States of America, obtained multiple degrees, studied on multiple campuses, have held multiple positions in multiple places of employment, have owned multiple homes. All you got to do is decide that you are a privileged American and be that and walk in that. You are a citizen of the greatest country in the world. If you've decided it's not the greatest country in the world, it's because you are not contributing to it being great. You don't understand greatness. You don't value greatness. You're too bitter. Heal. That's all I can tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Black MAGA sounds like. But this, Lala, what do you think about what this lady had to say about all of you Black folks who walk around claiming that you're so oppressed in this great country of ours?
We were oppressed as soon as they put us in chains and saw us as a commodity. They still keep those chains on us, regardless of how we see other people being successful. Everybody in every ethnic group has people who are successful. Some people have it better the way that they lived in their economic development. Some pulled themselves up out of bootstraps. But when you look at things statistically, it's not good in the numbers when you look at it. So it's up to people to make their decision what makes them happy. If she wants to sit in this shit, let her. Because for my mentality, I don't want that in my life. And if baby girl, where's your tap dancing shoes? Because that's obviously what you're doing. This is clearly Black MAGA and they got you fooled. You are not one of them, baby. You are one of us. And it's very clear that they're making sure that you understand that. So it's all up to your mentality, what you want to do, what you want to fight for, how you want to fight for it. But I disagree with absolutely everything that she says. We were sold some horned freaking schwaggle mess. I grew up singing The Great American Melting Pot. How much of a slap in the face is that to us to know that that was just a joke? And that's exactly what it is. And it's not just our communities, it's the indigenous communities, it's the all other communities. If you are not seen as pure white, then you are the problem. You are not a them, my love. You are an us. And after a while, we're not going to want you over here either.
And that reminded me, Lala, that when you said we Black MAGA, you are not one of them. You know that was, what was she running for? That politician, that Black MAGA politician that had that big old venue, all them damn buses, but nobody showed up.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Black MAGA said talking the same shit this girl's talking to. She had some big political event. Nobody showed up. Not one person. They will let you know quick, fast, in a hurry.
Right, you not like us, right? But the thing is, I think
I gotta walk around and be worried in Florida who's behind me, who I'm looking over my shoulder with, because most people down there, until I open my mouth, don't believe that I am a Black woman. They think that I am a them. The things that I hear them say when they think that they're in the comfort of their own people. Do I want to take that on in my mentality? Do you want to walk around in trauma all day long? No, I do not.
You know, I think that a lot of times people talk a lot of mess out of their mouths. And I think that there's a big point that gets missed in all of this that we talk about what we can do as Black people, as humans, right? Pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, right? We forget that every citizen, every human does not have the same capacity or fortitude, or everyone doesn't have the same intellectual, visionary, monetary, economic capacity, right? So it doesn't matter, like, yes, you can want to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Some people are only going to be able to pull up to a certain level, and that's the best that they can do, right? And then other people will be able to pull up higher than that. And that's the best that they can do. And they're giving their best. I think it's sickening to look at people who have been systematically oppressed and put into poverty and say, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I think it's sickening when we look at each other like that too, right? Like, I did it. I bought multiple homes.
Right.
I got a business.
Right.
You know how a little off we all are to be entrepreneurs? We're a little off. Okay.
Yeah.
Most people don't think like us. And we're thinking, no, we want to be millionaires. And those people are a little more off than us to even get to that level. There's a certain mentality that you have to have. And everyone does not have that. And that does not mean that we're better or worse off than anyone. Everyone has different capacity for different things. So yes, I feel like us as Black people, we need to be looking at who among us can pull it up, right? As high as we can pull it. In a rising tide, what's the thing? A rising tide lifts all ships, right? Because all of us are not going to be able to do it. And that might sound socialist. That's fine. I believe that, yes, let what we can do, the brightest minds, the people with the money, let what we can do pull everybody up. Everyone is not going to have that capacity. Even get to a point where you think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. We got to
I love that. Yeah. No, I love that, because when you talk about us being entrepreneurs, and we are an anomaly, it is hard. Think about it. To get to my first million and compare me to a white man, it's going to take me 100 times harder to get to my first million than it takes him. Doesn't mean I can't get there. It's just that I had to work so much harder to get there than that white man did. And so that's why our experiences are so very different, is because, yeah, we can do it. We just got to run faster, jump higher, work harder, be excellent at all times to get there.
Yeah.
We can't be we don't have white mediocrity, the privilege of that.
We sure don't. And Constance, also, we're starting from a place of we don't know what we don't know until we know we don't know it. We're starting from that place.
Yeah, because we don't have that generational knowledge that a lot of us don't. Yep.
So we only have the time that we have in our lives, and we're competing against people who already got the blueprint because it was made for them. Exactly. And we're still trying to figure it out. Exactly. So there's so many different variations. What she just said just made my stomach sick.
It was bullshit, but go ahead. I don't know. Maybe Tiara has a different take.
Well, well, in fact, when I watch this, I mean, not to jump off into like something else, but I do believe that a lot of times there are things here that we can benefit from, right? As there, it's much easier for me to make a goal, set a goal, and go out and say, I'm gonna make this plan and I'm gonna achieve the goal, right? I'm just gonna keep it ABC right now and achieve that. What she's saying is we're in a country where you can go outside and forge your own path with the right education, with the right things in your hands, with whether you're Black or not, right? There's I think I told y'all this before, but I went to a loan. I actually met with somebody that gets loans for he helps Black people get loans, like business loans. Last night he was saying there's all kind of things that Black people just don't know. We're just not privy to in terms of, and we don't seek out the information. We just be like, oh, that's not for us and we can't get access to it. Well, you can get access to it. You just need to just look around a little bit, like look around, maybe apply yourself and be looking around for things. I'm just saying, there are things that we have access to. Do I like the spirit of what she gave, the spirit of what she just said? Like, you're obsessed with your skin color and we should, patriotism is all of that. Like, I'm not with that, but I'm just saying in general, if we can apply ourselves, make some goals as a community, we can raise ourselves up. Me and Constance and I also always talk about the fact that of the $2 trillion in our spending, consumer spending, right? We have access to $2 trillion and we spend that. Only 2% of that is spent with the Black community. Even if we just spent 10%, if we raise that to 10%, it would completely change our community. So I do think what she's saying is the ball is in our court sometimes too. It's not all like, woe is me. It's like something we can change for ourselves.
But okay, of that 2 trillion, Let's talk about it. Let's break that down, because here's the thing, and I think I've mentioned this before. Less than 3% of businesses in Black communities are Black owned. It's not that we don't want to spend with each other. We don't have businesses to spend with, because when we did have businesses, think about back in the 1920s and 1930s, a lot of them were systematically destroyed. So we don't have the businesses to spend money with. Remember when Killer Mike did that experiment where he was trying to do only do business with Black businesses for 30 days, and he was out on a bench and he could not find a lot of Black. We don't have the businesses, so we have to we got to start starting businesses, brick and mortar businesses, because when you look at all of these other communities, you will see every other community in a Black every community in Black owned Black communities, other community businesses, right? So whether it's Asian or Hispanic or European or Arabic businesses in Black communities, but you will not see a Black business in any of those communities. So we can't spend with each other if we don't have the businesses. So we got to step back and say, look, we got to start creating businesses. But you think about all of these things that are done every time Black people get in, because you can't say everything is, we got to stop being obsessed with our skin color. Every time we do something, they change the rules. You think about that shit. When Black people in South Carolina, when back in the day, they would allow, when only white men were going to become lawyers, they would just say, hey, you just, got to have a nod from a judge. When Black people started doing it, now you need to pass the bar. When you think about what's happened in music and in sports and all of those things, every time Black people have gotten involved, they change the game. Anytime we get involved in anything. So yeah, we trying to play by your rules, but as soon as we get in there, we start winning, these motherfuckers change the rules. And that's also a problem. That is not our problem. The only people who can fix racism is white people, because they're the ones who are racist. Let's go to the next video.
All right. You have some stats as well, Constance.
All right.
Yes, this was a pretty bad time to say this, but let me tell you something. As a Black person, it's really the best country we could really be in, because every other country, we're literally at the bottom, especially in African countries. For some fucking reason, we're still at the fucking bottom. My pops is from Nigeria, and he used to be a police officer. The only reason he was a police officer so he could get to America. And some of his friends were still in the force or retired, and the things that they tell him, it's corrupt as fuck. Like, you really got to be that top 1%er to just get some type of equal rights. And it's sad as fuck how they treat the people out there. And that's just one example of like pretty much every other country in Africa. As a Black person, what country can Black people go to where they pretty much have it better than America? We're really struggling over here, struggling like crazy. But I think anywhere else, we would be struggling worse. Like, in all honesty, if you could tell me a country that is better than America for Black people, because I'm a Black person, I'm talking about Black people. So I apologize if any other race has better countries to go to, because if y'all do, that's great, you feel me? But as a Black person, where can we go that's better? I'm not trying to diss y'all countries or anything. I'm just saying, for Black people, this is the best we got right now. This probably me. If I'm being ignorant,
now who's taking
the
advice?
best we got right now.
Who's taking advice from this? Lala, you taking advice from him?
I'm not taking nothing from anybody who's trying to tell you and lull you. And you are not going to gaslight me or anyone that I love that has the desire to get out and see the world to do so. If America is not for you and you don't feel comfortable there anymore, then it's time for you to do your research. Now, I do want to make it extremely plain. It is not as easy as just saying, I'm going to go live over in Spain. No, sir. There are protocols and there are things that you need to do. You need to learn about their visa products. Are they a friendly country to other communities? Because there are some that are not. Spain is not one of them for me. Okay. There's a lot of struggles down there, but there are also a lot of African sections that are wanting Americans to come. Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Cape Verde, Zimbabwe, Kenya. They're telling us, come come on back over here. And I have spoken with agents and talked to people where they're like, we want you back home. And there are some horror stories because people were not prepared before they went. You must do your research. So you are never going to be able to gaslight me into thinking that America is the be all, tell all, do all. No.
So Shalaye, you taking advice from a ninja in a Home Depot apron?
Yeah, I can't with y'all. No, and so he said something, right, that stood out to me and resonated. He said something that resonated with me, and this is my question. But where? The world is a big place, and we're kind of concentrated here. Black Americans, we're kind of concentrated here. So it's natural for us to be like, oh my God, in this big wide world, where can we go where we can actually feel like we're in community with our people? I feel like this feeling may change in the future if more of us like go and get second homes in certain places. This is how people came to the United States. Like, I have some Cape Verdean in my family on my father's side, right? This is exactly how the Cape Verdeans like got to Massachusetts, and there's a large population of Cape Verdeans here. They said, where can we go in the United States? Let's go to Massachusetts. And then that person went, and then their family came, and then more families came. And this is how you settle a population of a people in an area where you feel comfortable. So I feel like we need to start getting out, exploring the world, maybe getting a second home, putting down some roots somewhere, trying it out, telling people back home about it. And I feel like that will bring more people to that area. So that's my thought. No, I'm not really taking too much.
I mean, what you said was absolutely 100% valid. And I mean, you think about it. He's talking about all these shithole countries that Trump has said, and the things that he's talking about is because Europeans have pillaged them. When you think about Africa, they have been pillaged by Europeans. So
this
yeah,
is going to change.
I mean, come on.
This has got to change. And I think that our African brothers and sisters over there need our help.
Yeah,
I do. So this has got to change, because also that's a concern too. Like, you hear about all this corruption, but also we're getting this information secondhand. Now, I'm not saying that the corruption doesn't exist. I know that it does, but I also know that there are some good countries. Okay, where are the good countries? And this is the question that we need to be answering. Where? And that's what I agree with the brother on. Where can we go? Where can we start?
I remember that 60 Minutes interview with Farrakhan. And he said how Nigeria, or the country in Africa, was the most corrupt. And remember, Farrakhan read him for filth and said, you are the most corrupt country. And you have the nerve to talk about. That was so great. I wish we could have showed that. But anyway, Miss Black Hollywood, let's go to that next video.
I thought you wanted that, Sterling.
No, I want to go to the
My
next
finger
video.
is on the trigger. Okay, my finger is not on that trigger. All right.
I wanted the other trigger.
Here we go.
And let me just say this. I'm never going to get tired or stop telling people about how leaving out of the United States literally healed me. Okay, healed me. Every Black woman should know that there are options, and you do not have to stay in the United States. You literally don't. Black women have been expatting and moving to Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, Thailand, South Africa, Ghana, Portugal, everywhere. Black women are out, okay? And as a Black woman who moved abroad over a year ago, I can confidently tell you that leaving out of the United States was the best decision I've ever made for my mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Oh, and financial well-being. Like, literally, leaving out of America healed me, and every Black woman should know that there are options for you to finally get out of survival mode. You can get out of survival mode. You can have a much better quality of life, regardless of your class or income. And honestly, take the leap of faith and move abroad. If you have been thinking about moving out of the United States, if you have been thinking about starting your digital nomad or your expat journey, let me be the one to tell you, encourage you, and let you know that you can do it.
I mean, at minimum, at least visit, right? I mean, at minimum, let's visit.
Yeah. I like the idea. I like what Shalaye said about dual citizenship. I think that's dope. I mean, I see myself wherever, maybe in the Caribbean, somewhere a little closer where there's a large Black population, that I can get dual citizenship. I can still get back to America if need be. They have excellent healthcare. I don't know. I'm with it though.
Y'all know that they just found, what was it, $12 trillion of gold in Uganda?
Yes.
And now Uganda is on the
It's a
map, and
moon
all these
sister.
European countries want to be best friends again.
Mhm.
No, they didn't learn their lesson. They'd already said, "Don't come over here. Don't come over here."
They gonna try to hook a crooked one way
They're
or
gonna try
another.
to take it. They're gonna figure out how to take it.
They're gonna try one way or another. Let's take a look at some of the stats. So the wealth gap, the median Black household is about 24,000 compared to 188,000 for white households. Black workers earn about 76 cents for every dollar earned by white people. And Black Americans are about 2.5 times more likely to be killed by the police than white people in America. Okay. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in America, yet they receive less than 1% of venture capital funding. About 20,000 Black Americans moved abroad between 2015 to 2020, citing safety, racism, and better quality of service. So with all of these stats, it looks like that Black people, we have all we need, but perhaps this is not the best place for us. So I'm going to ask you again, and this is a question that I posed a little bit earlier. What is a good plan for Black America in this next iteration? What's next for us? What's the best plan? And I know we're not a monolith, but just give me a high level plan that Black people can do. And we'll start with you, Lala, to end all of this.
Well, the first thing you need to do is start in your household. Like, you have to make the decisions that are best for you. You also are a part of a community, but there's no community without you. So you have to look at how you want your household, your mentality, if you want to stay and fight, if that's part of it, then do something. But it all starts with you and your mentality. And if you do want to move out of the country, I highly, highly suggest that you do discovery trips. You can do the research before you go, but make 2 or 3 trips over to where it is that you have the most interest in so that you can see if it is a good fit or not. Now, on my website, I actually have a moving abroad quiz that is free. This is going to help you decide, hey, is this something for me or should I stay put? And then you can sign up for my Portugal newsletter as well, where I teach you things that I know about Portugal, maybe give you a few little words, places to go, places to live, the culture, everything. It's not for everyone. And unfortunately, most people who are watching now want to make it a one-sided thing. This is an individual decision. You've got to make the right one for you and those you love. Go to laurakey.net for that quiz and that newsletter.
Amen. Hey, that was good shit. Shalaye, I'm going to ask you the same. What is a good high level plan strategy for Black people in this next iteration?
I believe that us as Black people, we always need to be thinking in the way of options. Okay. Since we Black Americans don't really have a homeland at this point because of what has historically happened with us and how we got to this country, we need to always be thinking and planning, around what are our options and keeping those options open. I know for me, what I am thinking about is definitely, what are my options here? What do I want to do with my business here? How much more real estate do I want to get here? I want to have things to sell if one day I need to just pick up and go. And I want to have land, but also, what are my options abroad? Where is it that I would want to be with my family? Where is it that I can buy another property and maybe bring my family over and we kind of like settle the area? That's what I would suggest, doing the research. Like Lala said, taking the trips. I think most of us have not been over there, right? So I get it. It can be scary to even think about that. But I believe that we need to start having these thoughts and having these conversations because it may be something that we may have to do. I think we all need to have a pathway, an option to have a pathway if we need to or want to do that. I'm Shalaye with Vital Source Realty here in Boston, and I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the United States and Canada. You can reach out to me on IG at Shalaye Camillo, on YouTube at Shalaye Camillo. Visit my website, vitalsourcerealty.com.
Good shit. And Dr. Vibe said more options, more freedom. Dr. Miss Black Hollywood.
Come
What
on,
about
Dr. Hollywood. What was
come
you
on,
about to
Dr.
say? Come on,
Hollywood?
Dr.
Come on.
Hollywood.
Listen,
Come on,
I'm
Dr.
so used to having doctors on the show. We ain't got no doctor on today, so you got to be the resident doctor.
We the doctors today. We got PhDs. Well, we got public high school degrees too. So I see Anonymous yelling in the chat. This is our homeland, right? And I think that it is. I mean, to an extent. But sometimes when I travel abroad, it's so funny that I get like a feeling like, why can't I just relax? There's something about it that feels like I can breathe when I go other places, when I'm surrounded around Black beauty, when I'm just hanging on a beach somewhere, and I'm like, dang, this feels good to my spirit. So I'm not saying that doesn't happen in America, but there is something that I feel like beyond this being our homeland, we are immigrants of this country, right? They brought our ancestors here, depending on what you believe. None of us was here, so this is our land, but and not really. And so I would just be open. Like I said before, I'm open to the idea of dual citizenship, more cooperative economics. I feel like that is the plan. Us just being intentional about the way we spend our money, the way we the way we interact with other Black people. To me, this is my tribe. This is a huge part of my life. And so I'm very intentional about those things. But I would say that dual citizenship feels like it's the way. Just so if you need to get out of here, if you feel overwhelmed, there is somewhere you can escape to, because America is a lot. If you were looking for me, my name is Miss Black Hollywood. I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. This Saturday, we have something coming up with Dr. Sabrina for the Fly Nubian Money Club. She is teaching us how to secure our wealth, but also transfer it properly. So make sure that you go to flynubianmoneyclub.com and sign up for our 30-day free trial. Come on in. Come on in the room.
I love it. Listen, this has been a great conversation, and my thing is this: like, I'm probably not as well traveled. I've been, to Europe and a lot of different places, but I haven't been anywhere where I've thought, this is a place where I would want to hang my hat for the rest of my life. And maybe if I thought that I wanted to move out of the country, maybe I would look from those lenses. But what I think for me, at damn near 50, I don't know that I'll be relocating outside of the country. I don't know. I mean, unless I'm forced to. So what I just think, as for the folks who ain't going nowhere, because I think I'm one of those. I think that just going back to the plan, and I'll never stop saying, and the plan don't change. The plan is we have to start practicing collective economics. We have to start creating businesses, our own businesses. It's paramount. The only way we will be insulated from a lot of this. Think about how other communities are insulated because they have the money, and the money brings the power. And so if we could work together to beef up our collective wealth, then I think that's going to be a game changer, no matter who's in charge, no matter what's going on, because we have the power. Now you got to think about it when you look historically, or look at the powers that be, because obviously Donald Trump is just a puppet. He can't tell. He don't know the difference between his ass and a hole in the ground. But the folks who do have the power, they are sick with racism. And those are the people who are pulling the strings of what's really happening in America. And they have years and years and generations of wealth that we simply got to catch up with. But the way that we can do it is if we work together. Remember, the biggest threat to America is Negro unity. And so unification is paramount if we want to make it next. So that's what I say. That's what we got to do, is we have to work together and unify as Black people. And I think that's what we're doing. And it has to be on a grassroots level. Maybe we don't all go the same place. We don't all think, because we're not, homogenous. We're not, we're not all one-minded, but there's different ways to skin a cat. And I just think that a way that collectively we can do it, a universal way, is to work together, period. So where can you find me? Everywhere at I am Constance Carter, doing all kind of shit. So go to my website if you want to get more information about the things that I'm doing. But let me just wrap this up and say that today's conversation reminds us of a hard truth. America is complicated for Black folks. It's a place of opportunity, yes, but also a place of pain, deep, deep pain. So whether we stay, we leave, or we demand better, the goal is the same. It's to create safety, it's to create wealth and freedom for ourselves and our families. And here at Fly Nubian Money, we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what? your money. And we're going to see you tomorrow and every other day of the week at the same time, same bat channel. We appreciate you hanging out with us today, ladies.